I am here at Ingolstadt. Oh no, Neckarsulm. The Audi factory. I just want you to see whose name is that. Ta-da! Right? Good morning to a very chilly morning here near Neckarsulm. I'll be driving the RS e-tron GT. So that's the e-tron GT. This is the RS version. Right? I've driven it on the track. So today we'll be driving it on the road. And we're gonna head to Neckarsulm and give it a good charge and enjoy the day while we head on to Munich later on. We might go Stuttgart, probably. We'll see. Alright, so the e-tron GT RS has a beautiful carbon inlay dash. Alright, and you get perforated steering, you get the RS badge over here, you get the honeycomb stitch RS seats, and then these are beautiful carbon roof. Now if you buy the e-tron GT, you can also spec carbon roof. Even if you buy the RS e-tron, you can spec the glass roof. So they made it pretty comparably flexible over here. So the ideology for both cars is not like that's a regular and this is the RS. Both are high performance, 4-door sports, daily usable, you know, brand shaping products. Just that the RS variant, of course, will be more powerful and carries the RS badge. Alright. And of course you get a powered spoiler. I tell you what this car is for Audi. It represents Audi in its core essence, just as well as 911 represents Porsche. This is in and out an Audi philosophy kind of product. You know, EV, advanced, sports performance, wonderful traction, amazing acceleration, and refined interior. And yeah, this is a great product. Let's go for the drive and enjoy the day. Good morning. Just picked up the car yesterday at Ingolstadt, and today it's a cold morning. I think it's like 8 or 9 degrees, and we're heading to the Audi Sports Driving Experience Center in Neuburg. Yeah, if I pronounce that correctly. Alright, I'm behind the wheels of the Audi e-tron RS. Basically, this is the top variant, and has a lot of carbon. The roof, the side mirror cap, the inlays. I'll go through the rest later on. So if you look at the dashboard, on the right side is the speedo, on the left side is how many percent of power you're pulling out, right? And then you have the charging, you have the remaining charge, and you have your range, that big green patch. For some reason, I can understand why it's tall, but I can't understand why it's that wide, you know, just to tell me my range. So there's my sat-nav navigations marker is there. It's being shown there, like the intended place that I want to go versus my available state of charge is there. So yeah, all the needed information is there. Pretty alright. So if you ask me, should you get the RS version? Now the RS version is actually pretty expensive when you compare to the GT version. In Europe, in Germany here, the GT version starts at 100,000 euros, whereas the RS starts at 140,000. But in terms of specifications, they are both roughly the same. And the important ones like the roof, whether it's carbon roof or it's a panoramic roof, or the inlays, be it wooden, open pore wooden inlay or carbon fiber inlay or brushed metal or whatnot, is all based on options when you buy the car. And then wheels, I guess, and then your leather or fabric, yeah, both cars you need to spec all these things. You can spec all these things. So what are the differences then? Exterior wise, there are absolutely no difference apart from the RS badge. So the RS has different motors, different output, in terms of software in the motors. So the electric motor of the RS version can push a lot more power and it's a lot more faster. But that's about it. Okay, I think for me the e-tron GT is good enough. Okay. Yeah. Very, very comfortable, very easy to drive, just very nice. So if you are the kind of household where you used to have a C-Class and a 3 Series, the C-Class is for the wife, 3 Series is for the husband, and then that's your little family, you guys are well-to-do, that kind of family. In the future, your wife can have the Taycan, and then you can have this one, the e-tron GT. Cheers. Alright, after a close to 2.5 hours of driving, I have arrived at the Audi charging hub. These are beautiful. This will be built across Europe, I presume. Can we have one in Malaysia? This is so cool. A place for you to park your car, charge your car, and have a cup of coffee. That is brilliant. Alright, I just parked the RS e-tron, and the same way we did it, but I hope it's long enough. Okay, let's try. Verifying the car. What's this? Oh, 300 kilowatts. This is epic. Look at that. That's proper. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, now I need to bring it over.
Okay.
Nur, dass Sie sich wundern, dass ich irgendwo verschwunden bin.
The whole cable thingy is heavy, but the design is very nice. It swings out with the arm. Plug it in, and this one charges at 300 kilowatts, which is mad. All right. So this is the Audi charging hub. Look at that. Wow. This is super cool. Is this gonna be built across Germany, Europe?
They will open different spots in Germany.
Lovely. And it'll be like a coffee house on top.
There is a lounge, yeah, we have coffee, yeah. But he will come down and explain everything to you in detail.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, we just opened one this week in Zurich.
Yep.
But a little bit smaller than that. I think in Zurich there's no lounge.
Okay.
If I'm right. Back now in Zurich there's no lounge.
Lovely.
Planning one in Vietnam.
Nice. Can they build one in Malaysia?
To get information to the whole project, to the technical parts, to everything. That's the reason why we have it here, because customers are also coming in the night and they should also have the possibility to get all the information. When customers are coming from 10 to 7, they will get the information in person from our concierge service. And then on the up here we have some energy values for the charging hub. Here we have the information how much storage capacity we have at the moment. Our maximum would be 2450, and yeah, like you see, a lot of people are charging, so our storage is getting down and we need to puffer it up again to get the storage full. Our storage.
Sorry to interrupt. How do you pump up the?
We have
The
two
storage again?
different input possibilities. We have, so yeah, customers are also spending time here, and that's also a good thing, because when you are at the configurator, you are not thinking about time. Just when you are sitting and doing nothing, time doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So here, the customers have the possibility to play, to get some informations. We have everything, equipment, colors inside, so the customers have the possibility to take the car of the dreams here, and maybe also ordering one after the visit here.
Nice.
Okay?
So the charging hub
Therefore, we have a QR code
is a
at our
place.
service
See,
desk
you
in
can
the
do your
front,
work.
because,
You
we
can
wanted to
have a
the
cigarette,
generation
sit on the
here.
outdoors,
So,
enjoy the
if
view.
customer
There's
needs more
a person
information,
charging his car
you
there.
should scan the
Another
QR
person
code at the
there,
service
and
desk,
then
in the front, and
It's a
then,
comfortable place for you to
we
charge your car,
would
for
go
you
to the
to
next Audi dealership
check
next to
the
our-
configurator and configure a car, have a cup of coffee, toilet, just an overall nice place to relax. Your kids can sit here with you as well. And it's so nice. And this section that I'm standing in is actually an Audi customers only section. So only Audi customers can go in here, and then these are for other open brands, you know, and of course they can pre-book their place, and then they can also order some delivery of groceries or whatnot, and they can send it over here while they are charging their cars. There's also a lift for the disabled to actually come upstairs here. All right, so yep, that is out. This is Audi's charging hub concept. And moving on further, they envision this as a place whereby people communicate and all that from an actual need, you know. So the building actually has solar panels, has a wind turbine that helps to charge back a bit, but ultimately they foresee it's gonna be from the grid no matter how, okay, because of the usage. So what they're doing this now is that they're observing usage pattern of customers. All right, so this serves as a place for them to study usage, and then for them to further on build upon this. Yeah. So moving on, they are envisioning that maybe next time a charging hub, you know, nearby can have other amenities that people do, like you charge your car, then you go and do your grocery shopping. So make use of the time where your car was served as the vehicle to go to places, and then from there you make use of the time while waiting for it to charge. Yep. Okay. So now he's showing us
This is my muscle power. Right?
his. Now he's showing us
This is
his
the greenest mobility if
his
you're
power
using
banks. These are your power banks, right?
Yeah. If we
Whoa.
don't have enough energy, I have to go on the bicycle.
So these are the huge batteries that will store power, so that at peak usage it's able to supply. You know, let's listen to our. Yep.
Right behind of you, you have everything for the PV system. So where the management of the
Power
the
cube
fuse
is
of the
inside.
PV system
This is
going.
compressor.
Here we have some facility storages only
Yeah.
for us, for the customers, that they, with drinks and everything.
This is where we
inside.
go in and check out
These
his
are for
power
the
banks.
mechanics. Here's the specific thing for the grid, because we are taking the energy out of the grid from the convention center.
Yep.
And yeah, therefore we need this one. And here we have a compressor in it, and with this compressor we are having a possibility when we have some reparation at the power cubes or something like that, it's easier for us to take them out because we don't need any other device to bring it to the charging hub. We are just using this one, pump the cubes up just with air, and then
okay.
It's not so heavy like the 9 tons. It's only, it's so easy to put it out by the hands.
I see,
Yeah?
I see.
So,
Very clever.
you can see from here we have 3 power cubes. So every charging station has its own power cube, like I said, upstairs with a storage behind. Every power cube has a capacity of 525 kilowatt hours.
Yeah.
And we also have a bigger side, which includes 875 kilowatt hours. That all together makes the storage capacity of 2450, and in every cube we are using reused batteries of the Audi e-tron 55. All together, when you calculate with 86 kilowatt hours netto capacity of the e-tron 55, we have almost nearly 27 full Audi e-tron 55 battery modules here for our storage.
So nice to be following an Audi RS6 new generation. Oh, he's overtaking this guy. This guy doesn't yield. Let's do it, bro. Come back in, bro. Yeah, so RS e-tron following RS6 reporting to Ingolstadt. Wow. There comes a future where I'll drive my Audi e-tron and go into a Shell station and say bye-bye to my favorite V-Power Racing, and yes, by then I can only go to Shell Select. Yeah. Alright guys, I am in the interior of the Audi e-tron GT. So the other one over there, the green one, that is the RS version, which I drove yesterday. And this one that I'm in now is the standard version, but it costs pretty near to the price of a Porsche 911 nonetheless. So you can think of this as Audi's sort of modern generation EV flagship supercar, but it's 4 doors. All right. I mean, for me, anything that closes in on 500 horsepower is considered that the level of supercars in a way. Okay, let's have a quick run through of its interior. First off, I love the natural curvature of these inlays. Okay, if you think about it, currently most inlays are flat, a flat piece on a flat surface. Okay, but if you look at how the sculpture of this inlay, it is the first time I've seen it sculpted in a way like a natural furniture, a piece of furniture, and it's absolutely beautiful, even from the very insides here. All right, and it naturally curves this way and this way. It feels like one block of wood that has been sanded, you know, and surfaced by a carpenter. Right, it looks like the work of a carpenter. All right, if I come closer to this side, if you take a look, see that it curves in, and the curvature looks so natural, as if they pick up a piece of wood from nature, and it has the kind of curvature that sort of suits the interior of this car. I really applaud and like the finishing that's done on this. All right, so I would have this material over anything, be it carbon or brushed metal or whatnot, because of the curvature of the dash that has been done so well. Right, it looks like a piece of wood that someone cut off spaces to fit the dash, to fit the aircon vents and all that. It is a brilliant amalgamation of modern technology with an eco-conscious approach, if you think about it. All right. Now, of course, this is an Audi. You have brilliant touch points, lovely materials all around. Okay. This not being an RS, but it uses the RS pedals. Now, in an EV, what does the pedal does, right? It's not like there are gears to shift, right? So this one, it reduces the recuperation, right? Basically, both pedals, right, they are used to increase or reduce the recuperation, because you're gonna feel it the moment you lift off the throttle. All right, how intense is the recuperation? All right. Then Audi's new screen approach. Remember, in the A6, in the A8, they have the new double screen, which I personally is not a fan of, and I'm happy to report that this one has the physical toggle buttons like that of the B9 generation A4, albeit that is not the metal execution, which is nicer in a way compared to these standard black color buttons. All right, the aircon vent has been pushed down below here, which I think it works. Right, doesn't necessarily need to be high up, because this isn't a very big car. This is a 4-door sports car that you can somewhat fit 4 adults in comfort. Okay, with a little remark that the rear headroom is impeded in a way because of the sloping roof line. Okay, but the practicalities of this car is, no doubt, it works. Daily use, family use. All right. Now, the steering wheel, here we have the left and right buttons to toggle the options up here. Okay. So it's very convenient. One thing I like about Audi is that, you know, most cars where you have one screen, the moment you go into reverse or you need to activate the camera by pressing this button, it takes away what you're viewing, right? Your sat nav and other stuff. If you're in a foreign city like us now in a foreign country, we rely on the sat nav a lot. Sometimes we go through a narrow road, we need to activate this, and then it goes off from the screen. But this being an Audi, ta-da, it's over here. And in fact, you can toggle different view, right? You can have it full screen or you can have it on the sides. Very, very good rendition of what an LCD speedo cluster can achieve and should do, instead of just turning them into digital clusters for the sake of selling cars. All right, the light controls are over here. I'll let you notice that again. Okay, you see the word auto. The moment my finger goes near, see that? I haven't touched it. There is a proximity sensor there. All right, very, very nice and subtle in the way it's being executed. Okay, sorry, the digital radio. In Europe, you have digital radios and sometimes they can just push themselves through and then you need to silence them again. I kid you not. All right, so here's the light controls over here, the window controls, child lock, everything is here, easy to understand. And then for Audi owners, you will know, turn this dial and you can control the side mirrors, the other side mirror, turn it all the way here and you get to retract it. All right, and then the door lock and unlock is available on driver's side and passenger side as well. Now come to the center console. This to me is not the best use of available space, right? If you look at it, the gear shifter, which is pretty easy to use, very straightforward, all right, and doesn't impede any room whatsoever. Because they pushed the aircon vents down here, you cannot use this space to be a compartment. That is probably the drawback, right? If the aircon vents are up here, it should work as well, you know. Nonetheless, it's been pushed down here. Here, on the other hand, you know, the start button can be anywhere, right? But it's here. If it is not here, this can be a larger compartment. Don't you think so? And this compartment is a bit, you know, it's okay for a small wallet. It's not wide enough or long enough for a mobile phone. It's too shallow for a mobile phone. It's for, you know, your car keys, your vapes, or your wallet, whatever you want to chuck, you can chuck here. But again, it's not the most usable of compartment, and it's just there. This weird contraption popped out of nowhere. All right, it's for the radio controls, right? On and off. And then you see a very peculiar volume with an arrow. But this flat piece of thing doesn't look like something you can run your fingers around, but it is. See, it is. All right, so that's how it is. Next, previous. Interesting, but not the best use of Audi's arsenal of buttons and switches and all that. I would have preferred a more standard metallic button. Cup holders, no surprises, very straightforward, just 2 holes. This part, Audi has never done a click lock center console armrest compartment. From my memories, Audi has never done it. They have always done an armrest that you can vary the angle and then you can extend it out. But because this is a sort of like a sports low slung 4-door sports car, the whole tunnel is actually your armrest. Okay, now that's good and bad. The bad thing would be you place anything that is somewhat longer inside and then you can't close. One example, let me show you. And it's too tall. Look at that, you can't close it. So to charge the phone in this compartment, you need to slot it inside, but not all phone fits. So this is again a very rare situation where an Audi has a compartment that, you see, I can't slot it in. There is an indentation inside for you to slot the phone in to be safe and snug on the wireless charger here with the holder. But even a Note 10 Plus can't go in. So, yeah, that's one of the big drawbacks of the compartment situation here. And there are no provisions for cable running out of this, but all the USB ports are inside. So perhaps they want you to store your phone inside, but if you store your phone inside, be it horizontally or vertically, there's no way. You put it straight and it's too high for it to be closed. This thing is not well executed. Okay, this is definitely a design flaw. A fight of space between different engineers in charge of different departments, and at the end the compromise was placed, and then the USB-C ports, both of them are in here. And being USB-C ports, they have to be on places that are visible, all right, be it from passenger side or driver side or the rear passenger. No seats in this car is easy in terms of plugging in the USB-C port, because if you sit at the back of the car, this thing is blocking your view, right? And you need to maneuver your hands in here. Sitting on the driver's side, this thing again is running on my elbows. So this is certainly one of the times where there's a miss over here. Okay. The next thing I noticed while driving this car, This car has those advanced adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist systems, right? But the entire stock to activate it is the old cruise control type of stock, which is, you just look at it, right? It's a bit intimidating. The whole adaptive cruise control situation can be executed with one button and a left right. You look at Volvo, right? Just one button and then it goes into adaptive cruise control, and then you go another time, it adds pilot assist, which adds the lane keep assist to keep your car in the center, and it's so straightforward to execute anything out of that. But this is first time you get this, but after a while, obviously you'll be able to learn it, but it's a bit intimidating at first, right? Pull this to on, and then you have a set, and then you have a limiter, and then you have distance. It just makes it look so complicated, but where in fact it's actually not. All right, the wipers are over here. Nothing special, you know, for Audi's. The default location of it is actually auto. All right. Right, that's intermittent. You're in off now. You push it up once, and then you'll be in automatic wiper mode. So depending on the rain, from the rain sensor over here. All right, up here you get the SOS button, the lights, you know, turn on everything, turn off everything, and then press it again to turn on this side, press it again, turn on this side. For Audi A4 owners will be wondering, where's the touch on and off? Remember that? That was in the A4. It is such a simple thing, just touch it and it's on. Don't need a button that feels all the way back to 2012. Okay, visor, nice. Everything is very nice. All right, you get a holder, you can hold a card. It's well built, like Audi's. All right, frameless rearview mirror. And then up here, you get heads-up display. Very interesting that this cover is in Alcantara. Probably when you spec the steering wheel in Alcantara, you get that as well. But then this is not. All right, this is some layering of a layer with sponge inside, a thin layer of sponge inside, covering on hard plastic inside. All right, but it's nice to the touch nonetheless. It's Alcantara on the door card over here, and then here you have speakers. In the RS, all right, the speakers are fitted with Bang & Olufsen, which is nice, very nice. Okay, and down here you have a door card. Remember, I always mention that Audi has always made their armrests slanted up, and then here they have space for a bottle. All right, this one you can't fit. I mean, you can, because this is deep inside, and then you can slot a bottle in, but you can tell that it's in somewhat a way of forcing it in instead of it being a dedicated space for bottles. All right, here you have the glove box. This opens up really wide, but there is a very huge base inside here, rendering the available space pretty narrow. So even though this looks like a huge compartment, but a good chunk of it is covered, you can't use that, and then you get two slim, a single wide space, but it's not very tall. Here you have this honeycomb pattern that's being done in a rather interesting geometry shape, right? That pretends to look like how a honeycomb would look like under sunlight. You have brighter areas and darker areas, but it's actually like a 3D pattern, and it's also repeated in the front grille area. This car has no grille because it's an EV. Okay, so I like how the aircon vents actually goes into this spot, which is pretty nice. Now the door handle, it bounces back up just like any premium car does, and then this one you can adjust the height. Okay, this one is a pass-through. Not many people would like it. Most people would prefer one that is covered, so that when you can put your phone in and then you can put stuffs there. All right, now let's go to the rear passenger side. All right, now I'm seated at the back. Look up. Whoo! Now, be it the e-tron GT or the RS version, you can spec panoramic roof or carbon fiber roof, up to you. Okay, now, yes, I am 5'11" and my head is comfortably lodged on the roof. There's no space. All right, but luckily it's padded. It's padded. All right, now these are give and takes on cars like this. You want it to be ultra spacious, then you get a boxy sedan, you know, a wagon or some sort. But this is a sports car, an EV sports car that has 4 doors, and you can drive like a sports car. You can run faster than a lot of sports cars and outhandle them. All right, so 5'11", lodged. All right, no two ways about it. Another thing is that the rear passengers actually sit on the exact same height as the front passenger. You can tell that Audi has tried their very best to squeeze room out of it. This is my vantage point. Maybe a bit wider because this camera has a close crop, but the entire headrest or the seat of the front seat is the same height as I am. So in terms of rear visibility, I can only look through here or here. Yeah, my future is there or there. All right, or up there. Nonetheless, this is a comfortable seat, and you can see I have plenty of room. Size 11.5 feet. I destroyed my Audi shoes in this trip, so I have to go to a discount store to simply grab a pair of shoes. All right, now the rails of the front seats are mounted on top of that. It is about 2 inch high, and then my feet is below. Okay, so I'm size 11.5 feet, so if you're size 9, you should fit nicely there in the corner. Doesn't have a huge tunnel, but nonetheless it's still a tunnel. Okay, moving around, there are a lot of times where my head is either bumping on here or bumping there. One thing I want to mention is the ingress and egress later. Okay, nothing special here. There's a cushion and 2 holes, and you can certainly fit 3 person when you squeeze, because there are 3 sets of seat belts. So, and this is squidgy and soft and nice, so someone sitting in the middle can bear with it. Short journey. Okay, let's open the doors. Look at it, it's frameless. Now look at my eye level. This is my eye level. All right, can you notice this entire thing? So if you wake up with a stiff neck, it's gonna be pretty difficult to see that. For my size, every single time I go in and out of the car, be it the front or the rear, I have ingress and egress issues. Partly because I'm fat, also partly because of the roof line of the car and the fight between the space between the batteries, the seats, and the roof line. It's all a compromise. If they made it roomier, there you go. That's how they will look like. But you want it sporty, that's how it is. Okay, this is the spoiler that pops up at higher speeds. See that? The mechanism is in there, and the body of the car goes like a Porsche, may I say, and then you get this. Now the Taycan, of course, that's a lift back. The boot, huge, but not really tall. Okay, and there is an illusion here because of the wide berth of opening, okay, which includes the swan neck mechanism, all this. But you would have thought you can place your bags like that very naturally, but you can't, because in effect anything over the rubber seals will get hit by that. Okay, so be mindful when you put your luggages and all that. So this is the boot situation of this car. Nevertheless, 2%, 3%, 1 week journey should be enough. Okay, and this is the RS. No, that's the RS, the e-tron GT. All right, I like the light signatures. And if you park this car right next to a current generation Audi R8, you will notice the similarities, especially the grille. Right, it's no longer a grille, but it has the same wide and low Audi signature trapezoidal grille. All right, down there you have some active arrow features that opens and close depending on need. And yep, here would be AC, the other side would be DC, and then you get a front space that isn't very big inside. Okay, yep, that's how this car is. And the other green one is similar, it's just that it's faster if you're richer. Cheers. Okay, I'm now going through the city roads in this Audi RS e-tron GT. Not exactly German standards of roads. Hey, apa sound ni dia tak ikut punya? Okay, press this. Okay. 150 meters to turn left. Here. Alright, the suspension. We visited the factory that assembles the RS e-tron. Now, what makes this car interesting is that Audi sees this as a brand shaping car. Alright, there's as much emphasis on this car towards Audi's future reputation as it is what the R8 did for Audi back in 2007 or 2006. Alright, and hence this car, the RS e-tron GT or the normal e-tron GT, is built in the very factory that builds the Audi R8 by the same team, the same meticulous processes, all right, and the same team that is highly trained when they do the Audi R8, when it comes to quality control, when it comes to paint and all that. And why? If we think of the R8 as the product that represents Audi as a brand back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, then the e-tron GT, this one, is the one that represents Audi for the future. It's full of elements that are of Audi's brand ethos. Sporty, practical, fast, go anywhere kind of traction availability at any time. And that is Audi's mantra, if I may say. I mean, we all know that the entire European continent's car maker is phasing out ICE combustion engine. Developments have been stopped, and future replacement models are all in hiatus, or I may say they don't plan to waste money or spend money to put forth development into the next replacement Audi R8 with a 5.2 V10, whatnot. You know, that's so far they can go. You know, this car is by magnitudes faster than the Audi R8. It's faster, it's more comfortable, it's more spacious, it's even cheaper. Or is it cheaper? It's not cheap. This car is not cheap. Not cheap at all. Okay, am I on the right track finally? So that I can blast my way to Nuremberg. So this trip is very special. We were presented with the Audi RSQ8, we were presented with the e-tron GT and this e-tron GT RS. And we visited Ingolstadt's factory. We also visited Neckarsum's factory, which is where this car is being built, together with the Audi R8. And now we're heading to Nuremberg to see Audi's charging hub. So all these things are stuffs that Audi equip themselves for the future. And this is the harbinger of it. And I tell you, driving this, is that a C63? No, it's not. Anyway, apart from not having the engine sound, everything that combustion cars are pursuing, think about it. You buy a Honda City and you claim that, oh, it's not as comfortable as the Honda Civic, right? And that's in what we are buying all this while, every cent that we pay, every 10,000, 50,000 that we pay more, is in pursuit of what? Is in pursuit of power, which is a larger engine or turbocharged or whatnot. It's also in pursuit of refinement. It is also in pursuit of NVH, right? And the ultimate would be the 5 million ringgit Rolls-Royce Ghost, or Phantom, sorry, Rolls-Royce Phantom, right? And then you think back about it. Everything that the Rolls-Royce Phantom or Ghost does well are the basic requirements of an EV. This car has some soundproofing stuff intentionally left out so that I can hear the tires interacting with the road. Where if not, if it is done normal, like my RS6 or whatnot, this car will be dead quiet. It will be so smooth, so comfortable. And should I even talk about the speed? Alright. So, of course, a lot of you will say that, oh, this is the same as Taycan, you know, blah, blah, blah. I can tell you, when I look at the development of this car, I'm pretty sure the conceptualization of this size, this platform, this proposition is Audi's idea. I see this car, even the Taycan, you know, which is the sister car of this, right? I see this product proposition more of an Audi product proposition than a Porsche product proposition. Let's put it this way, the 911 represents Porsche, the Taycan doesn't represent Porsche, but the e-tron GT completely exemplifies what Audi as a brand is about, right? So they put in so much effort, and you can tell in this car. I think the interior build has a higher solidity than Taycan. That may be my own perception, but it's nice. So in terms of power, it's also something that you don't even need to put in too much to discuss, because these are EVs, right? The normal version gets close to 600 horsepower, and then the RS gets about 650. Oh, the RS has 600 horsepower, and then with the overboost you get 650. You know, it's just mad. It's just mad. It's the kind of horsepower that you don't even need to delve into it, because they are just so fast and can just accelerate like that at any speeds. You can just pick up and go. And if you go from 0 to 100, I tell you, the way it pulls is crazy. Like I made my Facebook post this morning, there are more multi-millionaires in this world than people who has experienced 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. Yeah. So we've all experienced it, and it's crazy. So the Audi RS e-tron, what is it then? Why should you buy it over a Taycan? I think there are no reason, you know, to first of all, I think this car is manlier. The Taycan somehow, to me, right, feels like a Porsche custom made for affluent ladies, you know, who likes expensive cars because they see Porsche as a brand that is equivalent to something like their Christian Dior, their Chanel and things like that. But they do not want all the stuff that's being associated with an expensive car. Loud engine, loud exhaust, uncomfortable seating position, yada 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 yada. Women don't see those things as a plus point, okay? So as the e-tron GT, right, in terms of its styling, in terms of the way this product is being presented, I kind of felt that it looks way manlier than the Taycan, right? Taycan looks like my wife's car. This one looks like my car. Right? Oh, M140i. Cool. Anyway, yeah, well built and practical, comfortable, super duper fast. Corners like that. I have my track driving footage. Alright, and it's practical for daily use, which is an Audi proposition. Audi is never about being able to slide or whatnot. It's about you have safety with your traction. You can go to snowy roads, rainy roads, and all that. Audi is about that. Okay, your daily use. So, yep, this is your daily, modern, future, daily supercar. The e-tron GT. Alright, cheers.
We'll be right back.